everybody, this is Adam here for A Strings. Welcome to our first video of 2023 and welcome to the new studio. We're here with our good friend Steve Marks from Blackstar.
Happy New Year, mate.
Happy New Year. You good?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good. I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited. We're checking out a brand new product from Blackstar and I've had a little sneak peek with Steve and I am so excited to look at these. I'm going to leave it to you because I need to know all of the information. You need to tell me all about these pedals because I want to buy one, please. So, yeah, so please tell me and everyone else what we are looking at today.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you liked it in those first initial moments of trying.
I really did.
So what we're looking at is a pedal power amp. It's part of the AMPED range of products that we have.
Cool.
From Department 10 at Blackstar. This is the AMPED 2.
Awesome.
Part 2.
Part 2.
So it's a 100-watt power amp in a pedal. And you can do a number of things with it, but it's got some really cool effects built in.
Okay.
It's an all-in-one solution for the guitarist who wants something to take to a show. You can plug it into a cabinet. You can power a cabinet from there at 8 or 16 ohms, up to 100 watts, right down to 1 watt with power reduction.
Awesome.
So you can sort of tailor it to the environment you're in.
Yeah.
You can also go straight into a DI box, straight direct into a mixer. Using our cab rig technology, which is all sort of cabinet design via our Architect software. You can choose your cab, your mic placement, your room ambience, all that cool stuff, especially if you're on IEMs or silent stages, orchestra pits, things like that. And you can also go into the front end of an amp. And you can do 3 simultaneous if you want. Yeah,
it's so cool. There's so many features. I mean, to scratch the surface, to say the least, is what we're going to do. But how we've set this up for the video today is we've got a speaker out into a St. James 2x12. We thought it'd be fitting, obviously, to use.
And it looks really nice.
And it looks nice, and we've lit it up. So, yeah, aesthetics. We've also got a balanced DI out into our recorder.
Yeah.
So at different points during this video, we'll have at the bottom which signal you're listening to, which tone you're listening to. But also, so we can go headphones out.
Headphones out as well, yeah, which is part of the cab rig output, as well as USB-C loaded, so you can plug it straight into your DAW and record directly from AMP2 straight to tape.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
So to look at the front panel of the product, it's basically divided into 5 sections, right?
Okay.
That's the easiest way to break it down. You've got your amplifier section, which consists of a preamp input, 3-band EQ, master volume. We have 3 choices of voicing there as well.
Right.
So we've got UK, USA, and Classic.
Okay.
They're all ticking the box of industry standards that we know and love throughout the years. We've then got a drive pedal we can stack in the front end of our amp, built into AMP2.
Cool.
And you've got, again, 3 choices. So you've got a boost, a drive, or a fuzz, which is pretty gnarly. The other cool thing is we've got 3 power amp responses. You've got to remember this is a power amp pedal. So this replaces your amp head, or your your pedal board can go into this if you want to.
Yeah.
It's got an effects loop on there and stuff, which we'll talk about. But you can add distortions or overdrives into this, as well as using the incorporated drive as well. So you could just set that to a boost if you like.
Bro,
which is cool. So, as you can appreciate, if you know your history of amps and the way they work and the way they feel, drive pedals react differently to different amps that you're plugging into.
Yes.
And you have to sort of tailor the pedal to the amp.
Yeah.
It's the same here. So we've got control over volume, tone, and gain on our drive. So, as a good example of that, a 6L6 will work great with an American tone and a fuzz based on an EH sort of design into the front end of a classic American amp, for example.
Awesome.
And we'll run through some of those examples for you. So I thought a good place to start is a marriage of a tube response. What's important to know is the response is derived from our original sort of true valve power technology. So it really has the punch of a tube amp.
Yeah.
When you plug into a cabinet, and you'll vouch for that right now. It sounds like it's got a lot of power under your fingers, which is really important as a player, and that transcends through the cab rig output, even if you're not using a cab. and powering a cab. So we've got it set to 1 watt currently because we're in a small studio space here at A Strings. We don't want to scare the neighbours and hurt our ears, so we're on 1 watt, which is still fairly punchy but great for sort of practicing at home levels.
Yeah.
20 watt would be a good local pub gig. 100 watt would be a very large stage, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're running it at 1 watt on the power amp. By the way, the power amp settings will only come into play when you're connected to a cab.
Right.
If you're just going direct, that's not going to make any difference whatsoever.
Got you. Yeah.
Which is pretty obvious. So the response was, we've selected a 6L6. We've gone for a USA voicing. I've pushed the preamp because it's very, very clean, so I want a little bit more power there.
Yep.
And for a drive choice, I've gone for fuzz because, as we said earlier, an EH fuzz, sort of a big muff vibe, works really well with that American thing.
Yeah.
There's no rules here. You can use any preamp, any drive pedal, any power amp. It's up to you. As far as the tube goes, it's up to you what you choose with this layout on the top line. But this works really well for me. So the first tone we've got is based on a classic American high headroom combo.
Awesome. And you're using the Jason Isbell Telecaster.
Yeah, I'm using the Isbell Tele, which you guys have got here, which is a stunning Telecaster. And we'll see what we get.
We thought you'd like it. We thought that'd be the general vibe, you know.
So let's add in the drive choice, which is a fuzz.
Sweet. Sounds great.
So that works really well together, a fuzz stacked on an American combo, basically.
Yeah.
The next thing we want to look at potentially is, let's go for EL84. Let's go for a UK voicing. Let's bring the gain back a touch. And as far as a drive goes, let's go for a drive pedal with a fairly low gain.
Yeah.
So what I've gone for there is EL84 UK, synonymous with a really nice sort of AC30 feel.
Yeah.
And a nice drive pedal in the front end.
It's really interesting, obviously, with being able to use the response of your choice and then the voicing of your choice. You might find something that, obviously, like we said, is kind of quintessential American, quintessential British.
Yeah.
But you might find that the sound that you like, or the sound that you think that you wanted to create, might be a combination of American voicing with a traditionally British valve selection.
Yeah.
That maybe doesn't exist sort of in a traditional valve.
Exactly. It's down to the player, and also it's the Blackstar story, man. Just from day one, it's all about letting the guitarists find their own sound, the sound in their head.
Yeah.
Easily and quickly without too much stress, basically.
And it's really interesting. We'll make some noise. But I never ever thought that an overdriven 6L6 would be my thing until the Studio 10 6L6, and we use it so much in the video room. And and I've got one now. I've got the CV10 now. But just that driven 6L6, you always think 6L6. American cleans, glassy, and the thing's raw. They're proper. So I like that the players are able to mix and match responses with voice-ins.
Absolutely.
You're not limited to this is American, this is British.
There's no rules whatsoever, man.
Yeah.
But these are just some nice examples of some traditional setups, if you like.
Yeah.
So yeah. see that display change with the exact level of gain.
Nice.
So it's really, the OLED display is really intricate. But there we've got a really nice, just on the edge, AC30. Clean up quite nice. Let's add in that drive, which is fairly low gain.
So which drive did we go for?
We went for drive.
Cool.
The choice, but it's fairly low gain, so I lowered the gain there.
Nice.
Really smooth, classic kind of setup, basically.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to EL34.
Drive off.
Drive off for the moment. Let's go classic voicing, and then we'll go for a boost, which is the top channel there. So this will act as a classic UK stack.
Gotcha.
So EL34, fairly high gain, preamp. Very different sound to what we just had, which was a lot darker, a lot more spongier.
Yeah. There's instantly that kind of, that little nasal mid that you recognise.
Absolutely, yeah. And we can add a boost on there as well, so it'll give us a bit more dirt. So I wouldn't say that the Amp 2 is high gain.
Yeah.
But you can still shred on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it is based around vintage classic tones. So if we did have that sort of UK tone with the gain up cranked, then maybe if you could choose a drive for me there and push the preamp on that.
Yeah.
Just select a drive on that. There we go. And then just turn the drive off for a moment on the pedal. So this is my amp tone. I can still get pinch harmonics, I can still shred, so it does do a sort of high gain.
Yeah.
But you know, for the metal players, you might need to put something in the front of it, you know, your favourite distortion pedal or whatever. So
nice.
Which you can do. The next thing we got is a modulation section.
Right.
With 5 modulations in there.
Okay.
So admittedly, when you look at the front panel, you think there's only probably 3 or 4, but you've actually got chorus and flanger, which is a combined effect. Right, so as you're scrolling through the rate, when it gets to noon, it will turn into flanger from chorus.
Gotcha.
So you can sort of dial in a specific tone that you like there. We've got tremolo or harmonic tremolo. So tremolo is your standard tremolo effect. Harmonic tremolo has got a little bit more of a uni-vibe feel to it, so a bit more modulation in the sound. And then we've got a phaser as well. Moving on, we've got our delay section. So again, we've got 3 types of delay. We've got sort of linear, which is kind of like a digital delay, very clean, very clear, very precise. Analog, which sort of diminishes as the repeats decay. And then we've got a shimmer delay as well, which adds a little bit of a slight octave to your modulated delay tone.
In the trails, is it? Nice.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
really
nice, especially for ambient stuff.
Yeah.
We've then got our reverb section as well. And we've got 3 to choose from there. So we've got room, spring, and plate to choose from.
Amazing. With
controls over the decay and the tone and stuff like that. You can change a lot via the software as well. So Architect software, it's a free download for Mac or PC. There's a lot of deep dive editing you can do with it as well. And what's important to know is you've got a ton of stuff on the back panel, which we'll look at. but we've got MIDI in and through via a TRS cable, and it comes supplied with a TRS mini jack adapter to 5-pin DIN MIDI.
Yeah.
So you can connect all your MIDI pedals up as well with this, as well as using a MIDI controller. And if you've got a MIDI controller, like the Blackstar Live Logic, for example, which is an inexpensive MIDI controller, you can actually dial in so many presets, utilizing all the effects.
Yeah.
And you can use it for a bunch of things as well. I've seen people use it for lighting control. You use it sort of integrated with your mixer.
Yes. Yeah.
You can use Live Logic with multi-effects pedals to control every parameter of effects and channels and stuff like that.
So in regards to this pedal then, with the MIDI, what can we do? We can sort of do presets and...
Yeah, so you've got 3 overdrive choices, you've got 3 amps, you can utilize all that stuff to a preset. So you could have a lot more versatility from Amp 2.
Yeah.
So this is a box that is a product that you don't need to read the manual. You just plug it in. It is what it is. It says what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
You dial it in, you punch it in on the board, and it's there.
Yeah.
But if you want access to all those extra overdrive choices, extra channels at your feet while you're performing, you need a MIDI controller to access all those extras.
Yeah.
Some other cool features are we've got tap tempo for things like delays, modulations, and stuff like that. You can really go in a lot deeper with this as well. You can actually press the tap button, it becomes a shift button, like a shift function.
Okay.
And you can sync the BPM of the delays and the modulations together.
Right.
You can also change the bias of the fuzz effect to make it sound like the battery's fading earlier than it does. If you press and hold shift and adjust the treble, it change the presence of your tone as well.
Oh, amazing.
So there's a bunch of extra things on this that are really cool. We've also got some hold functions as well, very much like the Amped one. If you hold the reverb while it's engaged, you get a freeze reverb effect, which is kind of like a reverb swell, and that will decay even when you take your foot off. So great for ambient stuff. For delay and the modulation, we're calling it emphasis. So it adds an emphasis on that effect.
Okay.
So for example, the delay rate and level will increase, or the delay feedback will increase.
Got you.
And the modulation, maybe the flanger might start to swirl a little harder.
Nice. And we'll try a bunch of them.
Absolutely.
We'll have a mess around.
Let's go for a slightly cleaner tone. So we've had a reverb on throughout, and I believe the reverb we've had on is plate reverb, I think. So we can go to a room reverb. Let's crank it up so we can hear exactly what's going on there. So, you can have that short and long, whatever you want to do. We've then got a spring, which adds a little bit more of a sort of a bit more of a wet tone. And then we've got plate as our last choice. Give it a lot of decay. So you've got a bunch of reverbs you can choose from there. We've also got the hold function, which is really nice if you're into that ambient thing. If you wouldn't mind, while I'm playing, just depress it for me and you'll hear it just start to swell, and you can play around with that. And as you depress, the decay still works for you. I like to call it the end of the song preset. If you play that big note, you want it to sort of, you know, last,
Yeah.
and it's going to sound great.
We were chatting just before this video when we were looking over the pedal, and you said about you almost use it as a piano sustain, and that's what I was trying to do there.
Yeah.
You might not be able to see in the video, but as you were changing chords, I was trying to sort of follow you and lift off,
Yeah.
just so there wasn't like a clash.
Yeah,
But
it's great for that. Like you say, I use it as a sustain, so I'm on and off it.
Yeah.
So as long as the pedal's engaged, we'll try again if you like. I'll just do
Yeah.
some basic sort of chords and. Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
So it works really well for that, and I have to say I use it a lot. Now I've got it, I use it a lot, so it's really good fun. So let's bring that that reverb back a touch, so it's a bit more of a sort of a realistic, just a wet tone. Let's add some delay into the mix. Again, that's just I can tell straight away that's a linear delay. It's digital. It's very clean, very clear. If you could press that for me as I'm playing, you'll notice in the mix the delay level and feedback starts to increase. Again, this is called emphasis. You know.
But yeah, you can definitely hear that. Yeah, there's almost that little rise in volume where.
And it's the same for the modulations as well. So it just emphasises what you've already got selected.
Yeah.
So we were just using the linear delay there, very clean. Maybe try an analog setting for me, dude, if you wouldn't mind pushing it down. So you'll hear it start to diminish in the decay there. If we just give it a little bit more level and a bit more feedback. Really cool. And then lastly, shimmer.
Yeah, you got it.
So here you will hear a very slight sort of, it's not like a shimmer reverb.
Right.
It's a shimmer delay. So you'll hear a nice sprinkling of almost octave in the modulated sort of delay signal. So we'll increase the feedback, increase the level. Want to hold that effect as well. Again, really nice. A lot of fun. And then on to modulations. So the first one we got selected, let's see. Nice chorus. So as you scroll through, you can start to change to, you'll see it jump to flanger and you'll get a different sort of...
Yeah.
You can change the rate and the level and stuff like that. So next up, if you wouldn't mind changing it to tremolo. So then second one down.
Yeah. So...
There we go. So exactly what you'd expect from a tremolo. And as you scroll through, it turns into harmonic tremolo, so you get a... bit more of a uni-vibe feel.
Yeah.
Really cool. And then lastly onto phaser as well.
So is there 2 on this one, or is it just the one?
Just the one.
Nice.
So it's like a total of 5 modulations altogether.
Awesome.
So I prefer a much slower phaser.
Same, yeah.
So kind of like an EVH thing. So it's very. So there's a lot going on there with your added effects, your overdrives in the front. But it's the Swiss Army knife for a guitar player. It's an affordable, reachable level as well. We won't talk about price now, but you can check out the A-Strings listings on that. But that's really the front panel and how it lays out. Again, to access the tuner, just press and hold delay and reverb simultaneously, and you will see we get a good sort of reactive chromatic tune.
That's amazing.
And it mutes your tone as well. Press anything to come out of it. So while we've been demonstrating, as you mentioned earlier, Ad, we've got a Cabrig output coming via our XLR output here.
Yes.
So as far as the outputs, just to reiterate, we've got USB, which is 4-channel USB. So you can split that into 4 separate channels if you're recording to your DAW. You can have one completely dry for reamping, left and right preamp only, so you can add your own IRs to it, and then the full shebang.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and you can record those 4 simultaneously if you like. We've also got a line out for headphones, which is stereo, so TRS. You can use that to go into a DI box as well if you like, or you can go mono from the XLR balanced out. We've also got a trim pot on there, which is a 20 dB trim pot, whether you want it hot or cold. If the engineer's telling you to turn it down and you're quite low here, you might want to turn that trim pot down on the back there. We've left it about halfway for these signals, but what we can do now is just dial in some tones again. If you want to have a play around as I'm playing, or if you want to play, I'll have a play around.
Yeah.
And we can just test out the 3 Cabrigs presets.
Okay. Sweet.
So these are the presets that come supplied, but of course, if you look at the Cabrig software, you have access to a bunch of cabinets, a bunch of mics. You can change the mic on or off axis on the product, on the speaker system that you're using. You've got like room ambient mics as well, so you can change a lot of that stuff. These are the 3 that are built in, but yeah, you've got so much access to change your direct tone, basically.
Yeah.
So let's check some of that out.
Steve is going to run through some of the Cabrig options that come built into the pedal. Just for this snippet, we are using a Revstar standard. So yeah, let's have a mess around.
Nice.
Cool. So for us in the room, we're hearing just the
exactly.
Just the speaker out.
So because we're connected via this speaker output powering this cabinet, that's all we were hearing there. So when I was giving you the sign, position 1, 2, 3, that's our Cabrig presets. You can store 3 on the back. Those are the factory presets. but it will give you a good idea of the change in tone that you can get, because we were recording a direct out as well.
Yeah. Obviously, personally, you've started using this with your rig. I use the Department 10 dual drive in my rig, so I use the cab rig stuff, and it's amazing the difference. For me, once I found my settings, once I went into the software, I chose my cabs and mics and things. They're my settings, but there's so many that you can almost spend a day just messing around with your mics. Recording wise, it's phenomenal because you've got so many options there without having to mic cabs like we've done here. Nothing physical, and getting completely different sounds just from one click.
So I think there's probably like 25 cabs, I think. So the one thing that we at Blackstar really try to achieve, especially with these new amped products, is you can spend literally weeks going through impulse responses. There's some technology out there and software that will let you even change the vibe of the room, the color of the carpet. There's a lot of stuff you can get lost in.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with those classic studios or those mics, you're just really searching for a needle in a haystack. Whereas what we're trying to do here is give you a lot of access to tone, but quickly and easily.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can get lost in. You can't do much wrong with the Cabrig software. You can't do much wrong with that in your hands. It's kind of easy to use, and that's what we're aiming for the way people play today. If you want to record late at night, like I have this week, no one could hear a thing in the room, but all the tone was coming from amp 2.
Now, there's a couple of things that we haven't looked at. So, in terms of the effects loop, we can put anything and everything.
Anything in there. You got a bunch of controls on the effects loop as well, whether you want it pre or post or parallel. There's a lot of editability, if that's a word, on the software.
It is now.
It is now.
It is now.
You can eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do a bunch of stuff. So, I mean, running through the rear panel of the product from left to right, we've got our input and output. The output would be used for going direct to an amplifier. If you do go direct to an amp input, clean channel, the power amp section is bypassed completely.
Okay.
So you're letting the power amp of the valve amp do the work for you.
Right.
If it's a well-known combo or something, a festival stage or anything like that. Underneath there, we've got our effects loop. We've got a +4 dB and a -10 dB switch for that as well, depending on what sort of effects you are using, whether it's rack mount or whether it's sort of stomp boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then we've got our Cabrig section. So we've got our Cabrig presets 1, 2, 3, USB-C loaded, as I mentioned. There's a key lock on there as well, so you can really lock this down if you're, if you have it on display in store, if you have it at a show and you want to lock it down and secure it after sound check, you can. Just get a key lock system in there, no worries. We've got our outputs as well, of course, so USB line out, which doubles as headphones, stereo and mono XLR. And of course we've got our overall trim pot with a 20 dB increase or decrease. We've then got our speaker outputs, 8 or 16 ohms. It can power any cabinet at 8 or 16 at a full 100 watts.
Awesome.
So you could turn up to a festival stage if they've got a bit of backline, or your local rehearsal rooms, and use any cab whatsoever. We've also got our MIDI in and through, which I mentioned is TRS, and you get a couple of adapters for that. So TRS mini jack to 5-pin DIN adapters. We can also power our external pedals from the amp 2 up to 500 milliamp from two DC outlets. And we've got our mains input, which is universal voltage, so anything from 100 to 240 volts. Globally, you can use amp 2 without any worry of voltage change or alteration or damaging the unit.
It's crazy. And this is what I mean, to think of putting pedal power on there it's just little things like that I just think, it was definitely thought through to be this one-stop solution for a gig board.
Yeah, exactly.
So launch date is today, the day that this video is going live. Today is 24th of Jan. It's not really, but 24th of Jan. So yeah, we'll have it listed on our website, astrings.co.uk, and you can also find it on Blackstar's website as well for more information. I think we've covered as much as we can without going into the MIDI, into the software and things like that.
Yeah.
But that's where even more exciting things lie, I think. As you know, I'm really excited about them. As soon as you showed me, I was just like, this is super
You're
cool.
sold. I can tell you're sold.
I'm so if I wasn't up to the hilt in Blackstar gear already, and it's not a plot. I pay for my things, and I bought my things myself. The stuff's great. It works. It does exactly what I need it to. And
I can do you a deal on this one.
I'll turn the cameras off. But yeah, I love them. And
Thanks, man.
yeah, this is great. The Amps one again is an amazing piece of kit, and this is the evolution is amazing. I love it. Anyway, enough of me gushing about Blackstar products. Nobody needs to see that. Nobody needs it. Thank you so much to Steve for coming down and being the first video of 2023, the first video properly in our new studio, and for bringing down this new product. It's a video of new things. Tom's in a new fleece. It's all new. There's loads of new things. But thank you so much for coming down. We could have you here every week, every day, and it would always be a pleasure and a joy.
Thanks, man.
We can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, exciting times ahead. 2023. We've got a lot of new gear coming out, so it's all good.
Amazing. If you need anything else, we are here. We are A Strings. We're a music shop in South Wales in the UK. astrings.co.uk, A Strings Guitar Specialists on Facebook, at A Strings UK on Instagram. Find us, check us out, and yeah, come play some gear. I've been Adam. This is Steve from Blackstar, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Later.
Bye-bye.